Okay, so now let's do specific now. Since I introduced and discussed a while ago the overview of the idea of the generic or the general risk assessment, now we need to do the specifics or specific risk assessment with regards to health risk assessment. Health. I'm interested in health because it's so timely that my vlogs also are all about health science. Okay, like health risk assessment. So in this case, before going further, we need to have the basics in OSH. First, before understanding further. Okay, what is a hazard? Class, I need to discuss a little bit. Okay, so that we need, before going further, as our discussion progresses, we need to understand quickly what it is all about. We need to discuss further over and over again, right? You got a point. Something like, what is a hazard? Okay. So there's so many definitions for this. This is subjective. Something like, as long as you extract the correct terminology, what it refers with, then it's correct. If you're facing the examination, because you know, if it will be checked manually, of course, they can understand. If it was checked, computerized, then problem. There's no consideration in a computerized checking. You understand? Just like in the Bush National Examination Board of Occupational Safety and Health, they will check based on the council, UK council, and the people is not also blind who among the students or examinees are getting it correctly and close to the reality, like that, or average, and they can put points. Okay? And then the chance is you need to write well. You make your writings and penmanship very good to look at. Something like that, so that, oh, first impression last. Something like that. Okay, because we are just human beings also. Even though they are doctors in that council regarding to safety and health management, something like that. But we have also to have the feelings and emotion. Oh, this guy also is a very good. By looking, first impression, the way how you write. Something like a penmanship. You get the point, and it's very clear, clean. Your sentences are well expressed, well phrased, like that. Your verb, your noun. Okay, even me, it will be fun and very good to check if that is the case. And this have the same commonalities in feelings and emotions also. Though they have also the main point, number one, but they have to put flexibility and the adjustment of the giving of the points. This is the advantage that it will be checked manually. Okay, because everything will be considered. Okay, but computerized, nothing. If the computer cannot interpret that well, very vague, unclear, not readable, especially when you write, when you shade the circles forever, example, okay, example not forever, but if ever, okay, so problem. You will have a low scores, something like that, because the computer cannot read it carefully. You get the point? Something like that. So that's the difference of manual checking and computerized checking. And another also, there's a chance of, you know, machine fault during checking also. We don't know. Because I told you in my discussion in physics, machines and equipment are not 100% efficient. That's a characteristic and a behavior of a machine and equipment. That's why we have the percentage efficiency is equals to work output over work input times 100. Because machine is known to be not perfect. Sometimes it will be failing their function and operation. Okay, and it's also dependent to human being to operate. Right? And if the human being operate is very foolish, there's something wrong also with your answers. Something like that. So, you know, there's a lot of factors also to consider. So, but if manually checking, ang saya special. Okay? You got the point? Okay, something like that. Okay? So, it's gonna be like that for the checking of your answers in examination. Okay? That's only a linking of hazard before I'm talking with hazard. Too much. Okay, hazard is defined as anything, okay, anything that has the potential, again, the word potential, okay, that has the potential, okay, has the potential to cause harm. Okay. Now, Sir Sotero, what is harm? Harm is basically danger. Okay? You don't have to be literal. Harm is danger. Meaning, there's a possibility you will be injured. You will be in trouble. You will be in accident. You will be developing fatality or whatever for that. So that's harm. Okay? You can be harmed physically. You can be harmed socially. You can be harmed mentally. You can be harmed morally. Example, you can be harmed morally by the marites, chismoso and chismosa, telling statements that are not true against you regarding your reputation and image as an individual. And they keep on sharing to other people that you are bad like this. So it degrades your morality. So that's also a harm. Okay, because it really harm your reputation and morale. Something. Harm is not limited to physical, mental, like that, and spiritual also. You can be harmed by spirituality also. Okay, you got the point. You got the point, nga na siya. Okay, the coverage of harm is a lot. So this means danger. Okay, like that. Like that. But in our construction safety before, in the Qatar, I started with being a safety officer in the oil and gas, project in RGX7, RAS gas. Okay, when I'm a safety officer there, our harm and danger is normally they call that as a line of fire. Okay, line of fire. Meaning to say, line of fire is not literal in impact and understanding. When you are in the line of fire, you are in a state of danger. You are in the harm situation that most probably you will be meeting an accident or incident, something like that. Okay? So Jun is in the line of fire now. Go away. Right? So this line of fire is really, a safety terminology. Okay, not all can understand this if they are not on the OSH world. If they are not OSH professional, because they will interpret this as a fire, as a real fire. And they will interpret the line also as a straight line like this. Okay? But that is not literal. Okay? The meaning of this is you are in a state of danger and you are in the state of harm like that. Okay, line of fire. But I cannot use the term because there's no construction activities. We have already operations, maintenance, something like that, urgent breakdown jobs and repair jobs, something like that. You cannot also use this term here, something like that. It depends on as I told you, it depends on your organization, industries, factories, companies, where you are working. Okay, the compatibility of the terminology's application. Get the point? This is the definition of hazard. Then what are the two types of hazard? Okay, we need to discuss this bit first before going to the health risk assessment, because this can be used also there to understand. Okay, so we have the safety hazards and the health hazards. Okay, like that. Okay. With the examination, for example, Nebush, Ayush, OSHA will say, what are the two types of hazards? Okay, and for example, if your employer will say, and you are safety engineer, then in this question alone you cannot answer, and you have Nebush diploma, Nebush IGC, OSHA certificate, IUS certificate, and in this question only you cannot answer, what are the two types of hazard? Like that. Meaning to say, either you are fabricating your certificates, or you are not doing by heart the knowledge you gain. You did not put into actions. You did not learn by it. Okay, it just passed away in your brain cells, because just for the purpose that you can have the piece of paper, just to tell everybody that you have that credentials. That is not the purpose of having the real credentials. You should put into practice. You have to put into actions what you learn from your trainings, and you need to apply that to save your life from danger and harm. Okay, and that's very clear. So, what is a safety hazard? Okay. Okay. Again, going back to this, anything that has the potential to cause physical hazard, harm. Physical na siya. more on the body. If you were injured here, if you have amputation, laceration. Amputation meaning the cut. Okay, laceration. What else? A wound like that, or you will die. This is more on physical, right? You are disabled, paralyzed, temporary disability, permanent disability, or you lose your eyesight, something you cut your arm, like that. These are all safety hazards. Okay, that's very clear. You will change only anything that has the potential cause physical harm and danger. You will insert the adjective physical. Okay, because you have physical, chemical, electrical, mechanical, psychological, biological. Be careful in using term to term in your sentence and statement, in the definition. Okay? You get the point. But in order to make safe, eliminate the adjective. But sad to say, you are stating the safety hazard. Then you are obliged and mandatory to put the term physical. Because health also have harm. Okay? And we are stating specific here. Okay? That's why we are mandated, compulsory, and obliged to put the adjective physical here prior to harm. So, your definition will be like this. Anything that has the potential to cause a physical harm. Ganon. Kinaroon ka emotional. As I told you, moral, reputation. Okay, like that. Spiritual, like that. And any chuba-chucho. Okay? Like that. Now, that is safety hazard. The second type is the health hazard. And this is our center of discussion for today because I will be able to discuss to you guys the health risk assessment. Okay, like that. Okay. Health hazard, what is the definition? Okay. So, on the spot in your brain cells, you can directly say health. It talks about the people, the vital organs, right? The digestive system, respiratory system, excretory system, the cardiovascular system, the circulatory system, the nervous system, okay? The endocrine system or the endocrine glands, something like that, right? Reproductive system, like that. You get the point? So it's gonna be like that. So you are centering now the anatomy. Anatomy, structure to structure of your body parts, whether it is internal or external, something like that. Internal, the vital organs inside, and the external will be your skin surfaces, mouth, nose, like forehead, everything from your external. No need to explain further, right? Just like a car, you have the external part and your interior part or the internal part, something like that. Okay, so this is going to be the health attacking the anatomy of your internal and external structure to structure or parts of your body. And you add the hazard. Okay, like that. You get the point? So, what is the definition now? Okay, we will attach now more on medical science. Okay, in the definition. You get the point? Medical science, okay, like that. Because as you know, medical science is the prerequisite of health science, okay, right? Say health hazards, anything, okay. Sorry for the spoon feeding, ha? Sorry talaga guys, I need to do this in a detailed fashion. Anything that has the potential, okay, that has the potential to cause, okay, harm to the health, okay, like that. Example, illnesses, sickness, okay, diseases, ill health, okay, ill health effects, okay, health effects. Okay, diseases can be acute diseases and chronic diseases. Okay, like that. And these are all adverse health effects. Adverse, meaning harmful Okay, hazardous, dangerous. Okay, adverse health effects. This is the definition of an adverse. Okay, in English. Okay, adverse health effects. Okay. So, your definition now will be, mga palangga kong hitad, thank you so much for watching, Mr. Vince Cantal Orion. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. Okay, going back to the statement. Health hazard is anything that has the potential to cause harm to the health. Or you can add also to the health of any individual. It's up to you, because when you mean of health, it's already mean people. Right? Okay, it's up to you to, as I told you a while ago, never mind the plain memorization. Understand lang. Okay? So these are the illnesses, sicknesses, diseases, whether acute or chronic diseases, ill health effects, adverse health effects. These are the health hazard. Okay. Now if I say health hazard, what is health risk? The only difference is just the same. You will just incorporate the impact and the consequence. Right? Just like that, okay? Okay, health hazard, health risk. Okay? Get the point? Ganon. That are two types of hazards. Safety hazards and the other one is the health hazards. Okay, like that. Now we talk about the risk as a single risk. General or generic. What is a risk? Okay? Sige, tagyaw yung risk assessment, and we don't know the definition itself by the risk. Okay? Like that. Okay. Now, when we talk about the risk, the component is the hazard. Because we cannot tell the impact if you don't know what type of hazards are that. Right? So meaning to say, if we study, for example, if you study chemical reaction engineering, you should pass chemistry first. Or you should pass physical chemistry first. Because there's a lot of chemical reaction studies. Right? Okay? Chemical reaction rate, something. How can you understand if you don't have an idea of the chemical reactions involved? Something like that. Okay? So things like that also. You can never understand too much in risk if you don't know the hazards as a component to understand the risk. Okay? So meaning to say the definition technically is risk, okay, is anything, okay, that can cause harm. Again, the harm term is very important. Okay? Just make it also one sentence common so that it's easy also to absorb in your brain cells. Just memorize the harm. Daog na siya. Because if you try also to change, mabuang mga kapatid mo yung ilisdan. Okay? As long as you understand. You get the point? Okay. It's anything that can cause harm. Okay? And its severity. So it's in there that matters. Severity, okay? Its severity and its severity of injury, okay? Ganon. Damage to property. Medyo taas ang risk guys, ha? Damage to property, damage to environment, okay? Like this, okay? Death or loss of life. Okay, like that. Okay, mga palangga komunidad. Okay. Okay, reputation, loss of reputation, as I told you earlier, over and over again. Loss of reputation and moral, like that. You get the point, mga palangga komunidad. Okay. Then, this important is the last for operation and manufacturing. Okay, interruption. Okay, interruption of operation and processes. Okay, this is risk. If the operation and the processes will be interrupted, then the risk is you cannot produce products so that in order for us you will be able to gain profit. That type of risk is another point of view, more on business related risk, but it's still applicable also. Because I am telling you risk, general man. Okay? With the point? Interruption of operations and processes. Okay? Meaning, for example, if there's a risk to be like that, very high temperature, oh my gosh, there's a very extreme pressure. Maybe this will be burst and all of our equipment will be burning. and exploding, then I have to adjust the parameters, something like that. Or you have to study, you have to solve the complexity of the problems in your processes. Then it's gonna be, you have to interrupt or you have to stop your operations and processes in that. So that's gonna be also part of the risk in general, not only the injury like that. Okay, get the point. Okay, processes. Again, the definition of risk is this: is anything that can cause harm and a severity of injury, okay, death, loss of life, damage to property, damage to the environment, loss of reputation, interruption of operations and processes, and the combination of all. Because there are instances, for example, like a nuclear power plant, or let's say, nuclear power plant just like Chernobyl in Japan, something like that. It was exploding extremely, and so many people will die. That causes multiple losses. The people, the properties, the resources, the image, everything. That's why I say combination of all. Right? That is for major explosion, fire explosion. So all are being extremely damaged. Not only the life of the people, including also the environment where it was located at that time. Okay, because it was burned like that, and the soil will become contaminated because of the residual effect of the chemicals that were burned. Also, residues, it contaminated to the soil. So basically, the quality of the soil will be affected. So land pollution, something like, and then if the residues and the chemical residues will go to the sea, also water pollution, something, and then of course, if the gaseous vapor will go to the atmosphere, air pollution. Okay, so the environmental aspects were being damaged due to that major fire and explosion of that nuclear power plant in Chernobyl, Japan. So it's gonna be like that, the combination of all. Okay, not only the people are being suffering, also the properties, everything, something like that. Okay, that's the rest, not the definition. Now you understand now what is the general definition of meaning of the rest, the complete package of what is really the definition of the rest. By the way, you can make it straightforward as you like, but the Bush always likes this type of definition. And also the, what do you call this one? OSHA's 18001 2007 lead editor, like that. Before you take the examination, you should express in this way in your definition so that they can give you more points, rather than going directly to the straightforward definition. Okay? Because you will say, rest, you will say directly, it is the impact of the hazard, period. Because you know that rest is an impact, consequence, severity, results. You will say, rest is the impact of the hazards, period. So that would be more straightforward. But how can you gain points for that? In the examinations, especially the OSHA's 18001 2007 lead auditor. Before you become a lead auditor, okay, you should also know how to make the definition very, very comprehensive. Okay, not only straightforward all the time, there is place for that also. It depends on the avenue or the venue of the place you are dealing your trainings, discussion, like that. Okay? Okay, like that. That is a rest. And you know now what are hazards and risks. Okay, that's very clear. Okay, now since we proceed to the health risk assessment, I will draw the risk matrix. Okay, risk matrix. Okay, like that. What is a risk matrix? Okay, risk matrix really is a tool in which you are going to rank the leveling and the degree of your risk according to its severity, whether it is low, medium, and high, so that you can have your appropriate control measures and effective control strategies. Like that. Okay. So it's gonna be like that. So this is our risk matrix. Gonna chu-chu-chu, ganon, right? Ganon. Okay. Square, like that. Okay, since you have here the risk, this is the impact, and this is also the consequence, also the severity. More because impact, consequence, severity, all the same, talking about the risk. Okay, like that. Severity. Okay. And the y-axis will be your, okay, your probability. Probability. Okay, your frequency. Okay, like your how often, like how likely. Oh, like that. So, one, two, ganun. Okay, let's say you have square, just like a periodic table. Like that. Okay. Ganon. Tadadat, 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 tadadat. Ganon. O diba, hanggang lang siya mga palangga kagitan. Okay? And you will put number somewhere, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ganon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then there's a number here. There's a number also in the y-axis. And the rest will be, you will multiply your frequency times the impact. And that is your risk. Okay. And for example, if your ranking RR, okay, low is 1 to 10. Medium, 12 to 20. High, 25 to 30. Upon the result of your multiplication here, frequency times the impact. Because impact have numbers, I told you in the x-axis. And F also have the number also. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you multiply that for something, there will be a product, right? So 2 times 2, 4. 2 frequency times 2 impact is equals to 4. Then the 4 here will be belonging to the low. So from 1 to 10. So that is only low risk. Okay. Since that is a low risk, it's easy for you to find an appropriate control measure for that particular degree of severity of the risk. And this is the risk metrics. Okay. So you mean to say you quantify really the degree and the leveling of your risks. Oh, you get the point? So this is a requirement for the risk assessment. This is not a requirement for the job hazard analysis. Okay? There's no such like this. In the job hazard analysis, only words. Statements. There's no mathematical representation. Okay? Like that. Okay? Any questions so far? Thank you so much for watching, Ma'am Lore, Sister Panilag. Thank you so much. Okay. Okay. Regards ko diha sa United States of America, Ma'am Lore, Sister Panilag. Okay? I know you are now in the US. Okay? Thank you so much. Itanawin ako si Ma'am Lore. Thank you kaayo, Ma'am Lore. Okay. Now guys, let's go now to the health risk assessment. Okay? HRA. Okay. Like that. O diba? Health risk assessment. Like that. O diba? Okay, creating own acronym. Okay. Ganun. Health risk assessment. And now we need to be specific. So I need to introduce to you a sample of how to make a risk assessment. But of course, I need to give you a guidance what to do. Okay? So, oh my gosh, can we finish this? Okay, it's okay. I mean, let's go now. Okay, so let's gonna talk about since health science, I need to talk about drugs. Okay, drugs risk assessment. Drugs health risk assessment. Okay, ganon. Okay. Diba? Okay. What are the techniques for this? Okay. Techniques. Okay. There's a little bit of slight modification, but actually, if you try to extract the main point, it will be just the same. But there's a little modification because it's related to medical science and health science, not focusing more on the safety. Okay? Like that. Okay. Ganon. What are the steps of health risk assessment? Okay. Health risk assessment doesn't mean only to the drugs, it could be also for others that related to the medical science only. But in my case here, I need to introduce to you the drugs. Drugs meaning pharmaceutical products, medicines, tablets, capsules, multivitamins, like that. Anything that you take into your body to make you healthy. and to make you recover from your diseases if you are sick. So these are all what we mean by drugs. It's not the illegal drugs. You get the point? Because drugs are very, very important to keep us healthy. It is only the idea or the application how we use it makes us that bad. Something like that. You get the point? So it's gonna be like that. So illegal drugs like shadow, marijuana, cocaine. So that's why it's very necessary to put an adjective. You get the point? This is the reason behind to be specific, right? Illegal drugs. Because the legal drugs, we mean drugs. Okay, meaning to say, what are the two types of drugs? Illegal drugs and legal drugs. Right? I make my own category. Okay, get the point? Let's agree this because I remember this in my easy writing contest before in college. Okay, it's gonna be like that. Okay, drugs talaga. Okay, drugs. Okay, now, so my topic yesterday is all about preservatives. What time na? Uy, sabihan kayo, no? Preservatives, right? And I showed the chemical reactions, what would be the impact to the people, to your health, and how can we solve the problem, something like that. So, basically related to that. Okay? You get the point, mga palangga? But, the center is not more on the food. It's on the drugs. Get the point? So, basically, we will also be dealing with nitrosamine in our drugs health risk assessment. Nitrosamine, okay? Nitrosamine. Are you familiar with the chemical reaction for this? The chemical formula and the structural formula. Okay? Nitrosamine. This is very, very important, guys, so we can avoid cancers, really. I tell you. Okay, take this seriously. Oh my gosh. I hate illegal drugs. Naglok na gumagamit of drugs. Nakakaloka. Okay, thank you so much mga palangga kong hita. Thank you so much for watching. Vince Cantal-Orain. Wow! Social! Nakakaloka. Mga silingan kong dako. So nitrosamine. Let's go to the specific formula first. H2, N2, O. 2 atoms of hydrogen, 2 atoms of nitrogen, and 1 atom of oxygen. Okay, the specific chemical formula of an organic compound, nitrosamine. What is the general formula? Okay, the general formula will be like this. R1, okay, R2, then nitrogen, double bond oxygen. Something like that. Now I need to have a discussion technically. So in here, we have the nitroso group. The nitroso group. Coming from the word nitrogen. And it will be in cat as a functional group. Okay, nitroso group. Okay. And here is the amino group. Amino group. Or the amine. Okay. Amine specific formula is NH2. Okay. 1 atom of nitrogen and 2 atoms of hydrogen. Something like that. So when you mean of nitrosamine, it's composed of an amine and a nitroso group. So the nitroso group are a lot also. These are we call nitrosating agents. Nitrosating agents. Okay, I use ing because I use this as a verb to perform the function. Nitrosating is like sing, singing, dance, dancing. Since I have here nitroso, nitrosating. You get the point? So nitrosating agents. Okay. So the English part is here, the grammar. Okay, something like that. So that is nitrosating agents, the nitroso group compound, something like that. Okay, and the amine. Now in guys, nitrosamine guys, specific H2N2O. Okay, and these are for the food, the preservatives. Okay, for example, the nitrates, all types of foods all over the world, usually coming from the plants, trees, and animals, normally have nitrates converted to nitrite. Before conversion to the nitrite, they undergo the curing. of the food. Okay? Like that nitrite, and then the nitrite will be the preservative to preserve the food for a longer period of time. Okay? Like that. So that it will never be rotten, will never be biodegradable, will never be perished. Something like that. Dili malata, di ba panos? Okay, that's the purpose of the preservative nitrite. And after that, it will yield a product called nitrosamine. Okay, the nitrosamine will need nitrosating agents before we can produce the H2N2. But for the food, mga palangga akong hitad, for the food preservations, for example, the pickles, okay, the meat, processed meat food. Okay, processed meat food. Katong mga bacon, hot dog, sausage, meatloaf, ham, beef loaf, chorizo, tocino, like that. This processed red meat contains amine naturally. You cannot remove the amine because it's existed there naturally on the meat. Okay. During preservation, we need to do the curing. Okay. In the curing process, we have to put nitrates, and then the nitrates will be there, reduced na as a nitrite. Okay. Then it will turn into nitrosamine. Okay. And then it's need, sorry, nitrosating agent. So basically, nitrosating agent, okay, plus amine, which is found in the meat, will produce nitrosamine. Here, like that. Okay. Now, what are those nitrosating agents? From the word nitro, these are nitrogenous compound family. And what are those? I need to discuss. Nitrogenous compound family. Okay, what are those? Just like a sugar family or the carbohydrates family, the nucleic acids family, especially the DNA, the deoxyribonucleic acid, and the ribonucleic acid in our genetic information, like that, belongs to the nucleic acid family, something like that. Okay, so nucleic acid family composed of DNA and RNA. It's in there the process of transcription, like that, coding, like that, of the XY, YY for the, if you have a complete chromosomes, 23 pair of chromosomes, 46 chromosomes, and then if the testosterone and the estrogen will meet during sexual intercourse, it will produce an infant in the ovary, and the uterus, blah, 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 so on, so, and that is part of the nucleic acid family, and then the recipient most of the time, not most of the time, permanently, will be the reproductive organ. Okay, reproductive, the female sex organ, the vagina, the male sex organ, the penis. And then the hormones will be generated by the female sex organ will be the estrogen, and the male sex hormone that will be produced by the man will be the testosterone, okay, plus the androgen equal to the sperm cell. Okay, the sperm cell plus estrogen will yield a baby. And it will occupy now in the ovary of the girl, it will produce a fertilized egg called the zygote or the ovule. As the times goes by, how many months? Until 9 months, it will have a hormone called oxytocin. Oxytocin hormone purpose for the women alone is to promote the growth of an infant inside the ovary. That's why it will become big. If there's no oxytocin hormone, the baby will not grow in the stomach of the women. Okay, what we will do now, we will increase the level of choline for the women. They will keep on eating, for example, vitamin E, vitamin D, like the eggs, the albumin, okay, like that, the carotenoid, something like that, so that it will develop the, oxytocin, and the oxytocin function is to promote the growth of the infant. The baby will become big, and after 9 months, it will be released. Ganon. So that's gonna be the nucleic acid family, the RNA and the DNA, something like that. So I'm talking about the family, okay? So we have also nitrogenous compound family. What are those? Okay, I need to discuss. This is all about organic chemistry in combination of the physiology, anatomy, and the epidemiology talks about the medical science under health science. Okay? It doesn't need to be a doctor to learn these things. You need to research, you need to study a lot. This is part of protecting your health. Get the point? And to have a good immune system. Something to avoid diseases, sickness, and illnesses. Or eventually, chronic diseases or cancers. Something like that. You get the point? Ganon. So that you will be happy in the planet Earth, in this contemporary world. That you are healthy together with your family, friends, colleagues, like that, or any engagements in your life. You get the point? Something like that. Okay. Now, nitrogenous compound family. Oh, nitrogenous. Nitrogenous meaning adjective. Because EOUS is also an adjective. Okay? Like that, for example, genius. Okay? Like that, nakakaloka. Meticulous. Okay, nitrogenous compound or family. Okay? What are these? Or nitroseeping agent. Okay? Nitroseeping agents. Nitrogen, come from the word nitrogen. Okay. So, why you illustrate this, Sotero? This is going back to nitrogen, percent by volume in the atmosphere. When God created the world, He said, let there be light. And there is light. And let there be water to flow, and the water comes in. When he atmosphere will be there. And our atmosphere composed of 79% by volume of nitrogen and 21% by volume of oxygen. That's why we cannot avoid nitrates. Nitrites. Amine. So meaning to say, without nitrogenous family group, we will die. Okay? We will die because nitrogen comprises the large component of our plants and trees that we make as food, because the protein contains nitrogenous compound there, and amino group, which is also the NH2. There's also nitrogen there, right? That's why there's a reason why God created 79% by volume, because that is present in every food and drinks we intake. Something like that, okay? Apart from the carbohydrates. So that we need, by understanding science, we will survive. Not understanding money, okay? It doesn't need to become an engineer to survive. All you have to do is to understand the science, okay? And the health. Science or health science. Something like that. You can understand mga palaga kong vital. So, nitroseeping agents. O, dahil kayo siya mga palangga. Okay. N2O5. Okay, dinitrogen pentoxide. Sorry. To those chemists, makalalik mo ng chemical engineer, sorry. So, N2O4, dinitrogen tetroxide. Okay, nga nakakaloka. N2O3, dinitrogen trioxide. Dinitrogen trioxide have a special name known as, unsa man siya, nitrous anhydride. Okay, nitrous anhydride. Okay, anhydride. Okay. We have also NO. Kani makalibog ni. Some students will interpret as nitrous oxide. Some students will be express as nitric oxide. What's this? Okay, what's this? This is nitric oxide, because the nitrous oxide is N2O. Okay.